subscribe.
Come on, dude. Fist bump. Bump that shit, bro. Be the bigger person. He was on my ground. You all saw that, right? Everything inside the red line is mine. Inside the red line, that's my ground. He was on it.
Take some time to chew, but that was very satisfying.
I'm going to impregnate everyone with the word of God. You gonna get pregnant with the word of God. Squidward!
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 Hey, Squidward!
Squidward!
Squidward! Hey, Squidward!
Patrick, your glass is full.
Oh, yeah.
Squidward!
Hey, Squidward!
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 Hey, Squidward! Hey, Squidward! Squidward! Hey, Squidward! Squidward! Squidward!
Hello there, sir. Are you looking to purchase and sell some Marty Farm Snickers at most reasonable prices? Then come on down to Old Charleston Jew's Snickers Market today. At Charleston Jew's Snickers Market, you can trust that any Snickers you buy has been most properly broken. Can't you just get SpongeBob to do it?
Oh, no, lad. You know the rules. And so do I.
Ching chong bing bong. Don't say it cause it's wrong. When you talk about Asians, what bond were you all raised in? Ching chong bing bong. Don't say it cause it's wrong. Please try to talk for rivalry and pass me more fried lights, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a wonderful night tonight, a wonderful Friday. We have made it. Ladies and gentlemen, the big, beautiful weekend lays ahead of us. And tomorrow I'm going to be waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, like what, 7 hours from now? To drive 4 hours down to a major match to shoot the staff day at 8 o'clock in the morning, like 12 stages tomorrow. Really, really bad at planning. So hopefully the stream won't go too long. I just gotta make it through the stages tomorrow. That's my plan. Just barely crawl through the last 12 stages tomorrow and then be done with it. Will I make it home after the stages? Who knows? But other than that, hope you all are doing very, very well today. We've got lots of fun stuff to talk about. A couple little white pills to start with, right? That's nice. A couple of good news out there for people in Virginia or some bad states. We've got a lot of new releases this week, or maybe not new releases, but at least like products officially launching, products being announced. So a little bit of everything, right? So we got some PCC stuff, which I know it is June. Okay, relax. We've got Groza IRL. And maybe the Groza that you want, or maybe not the Groza that you want. We've got Cockroach Optics. That'll be fun to talk about. I'm sure you guys are going to love that. Bear Creek Arsenal coming out with a AR-10 styled rifle in 3030. Why though? Why would you do that? I mean, listen, if it sells, they'll make it. B&T AG has successfully resolved their situation with B&T USA, so that's cool. And we've got a couple of cool white papers, okay? A couple of cool white papers to go over, because I didn't realize this. On the last stream, I was like, it'd be really cool if we had some, studies done against, people tested about whether they can shoot better with iron sights or red dots. And then I had a wonderful young gentleman send me a couple of studies doing just that, which is why Sage Dynamics is in the thumbnail. So we can talk about, are red dots actually better than iron sights for the average person, or the above average person, or the below average person? And the answer is just yes in every category, basically. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the beginning of the topics, shall we? And that is Trump trying to do something positive for his base, or at least generate some positive press, I suppose. Things have not been going particularly well for him and his base over the last several months due to some incidents in the Middle East, which allegedly we were just bombing them a little while ago today because they attacked a ship in the Strait of Hormuz. So, I mean, who knows what's going on with all of that? But something that Trump at least said, that is at least based in terms of what he's saying, not sure if he's actually going to do it, but in terms of what he's saying, is that Trump fuels hopes for nationwide right to carry legislation with surprise declaration at Pennsylvania event. So I hope this is the right video here that should just allow him to express it in his own vernacular.
Thanks as well to the president of the NRA is here with me, Bill Mockenberg. Bill. And they always give me their endorsement because I saved the Second Amendment, and you think it's easy.
Saved the Second Amendment. That's strong language. Strong language. I don't remember specifically if Biden got any major gun control through, but I know that Trump in his first term was not great. Now, you could say that in his second term, we've gotten the tax removed from the NFA, though we could have gotten like everything just straight up removed from the NFA, and that would have been like the complete total win that it should have been. But I suppose in lieu of that, having a tax reduction is nice. Him talking about concealed carry reciprocity, even though I don't even know that's something that he can legally do, it's like nice. But saying that he's the savior of the Second Amendment, little strong.
On occasion, it was not easy, right, Bill? But we did it. We did it with your help. And we're doing a couple of other things working with you and your people. But I think you've done a fantastic job. The NRA, everybody, they really have been, they've been with me right from the beginning. And Bill asked me would I support the national right to carry legislation. How do you feel about national right to carry? That's my free poll. You know, it's just a free poll. I don't have to pay $300,000 to somebody that doesn't even do polling. You give your phony numbers. See, those are real numbers.
Yeah, just talking about, hey, we should have a United States National Right to Carry Act, even though I'm sure if something like that even were possible to pass, which I'm sure it's not, right? This is just useful campaign rhetoric as he's looking to 2026 midterms coming up, 2028. Again, not looking so great as of right now. Things could change. There's no reason to black pill, but trying to shore up your base a little bit and throwing out buzzwords. So really all that is. Nothing more than that. Sound and fury signifying nothing, as it usually is. Now, something that is good, that is actually cool, especially for those of you guys who live in Virginia and whatnot, is there was a temporary injunction against the enforcement of both the assault firearm ban and carry prohibition in the states of Virginia. Now, that is very important because I believe I saw a few places say that they were going to resume shipments into Virginia. A couple of big retailers, I think Palmetto State Armory might have been one of them, had paused shipments into Virginia since the assault weapons ban, prohibition on certain things was going into effect. They were going to pause their shipments into Virginia. However, since this temporary injunction has been put in place, I've seen it reported a couple places that they have now began resuming shipments. So listen, temporary injunction, pretty cool. Allows you to, maintain your rights for a little longer, but it's not a win. It's not a long-term win. It's a short-term fix that may or may not go away. So I'm not into panic buying. I'm not into recommending that you go out there and, spend all your money and max out all your credit cards. I think that's a foolish decision to make. However, if you're in a position where there's like something that you actually need and have use of, now might be a timely opportunity to get that, if that makes sense. So VCDL/GOA lawsuit victory. The judge in Lancaster County has issued a temporary injunction against the enforcement of both the assault firearm ban and carry prohibition. I'm not sure about the magazine ban yet, but I should know soon and will advise. For now, the enjoinment applies to the Virginia State Police statewide. We expect an appeal by the Commonwealth, more coming as things evolve. So again, this is not a permanent injunction, meaning that they're permanently stopped from enforcing this, just temporary. So the other side is certainly going to appeal. So while the gates have kind of opened up for the moment, you should, do what you need to do if you are in the state of Virginia. So the Lancaster County ruling, this is a follow-up, also temporarily enjoins the magazine capacity limitation of 15 rounds. So again, maybe this is a positive sign that this will continue to be enjoined or that it will be overturned at some point, but this is not just a out and out win, if that makes sense. And again, for some of you guys who may or may not be affected by certain states' legislation, this is a great temporary little win for you that gives you a little bit longer of a window of opportunity to get done what you need to get done. So good to hear so far. Good on the organizations putting up the good fight, spending their money, filing all these lawsuits, which again, it's like you can make fun of all these people, and we do, rightfully so, of, like the armed scholar and whatnot who go over every little minor case update possible. And it's so boring and tedious and clickbait 99.9% of the time. But the one helpful thing about it, I suppose, is it does at least get more eyes on each individual case, if that makes sense. So at least people know what's happening, what's being filed, what organizations are doing where. The videos are all the same and it's all just clickbait. You can just read the title and get the entirety of the content of the video, but still, at least it's getting more eyes on each individual case. 9x19 says, where's my effing tariff check? Well, that's actually going from your pocket back to the corporations, right? Jarrett says Freedom Week on peptides. Yeah, kind of, because Freedom Week in California, if you don't know, was like 8 years ago at this point. It was a while ago. Was essentially a temporary injunction on the magazine ban. So for like a week, people could buy, standard capacity magazines in California legally and still possess them afterwards. So for Freedom Week, they shipped like, 4, 5, 6 million magazines into the state of California because they just had that little opening. Now, of course, Virginia, it's a little different because the ban was about to go into effect, I think July 1st. And now it is temporarily enjoined or injuncted. So now it does not get enforced by the state police, right? So again, there are some companies that are still going to ship into the state of Virginia while this temporary injunction is in place. So it feels like 3 years ago. It was not. I'm pretty sure that was long before COVID, Bryce. So it might have felt like it was 3 years ago, but I'm pretty sure it was like 8. Actually, let me look this up now because this is going to make us all feel old. Freedom Week, California. 2019. Yes, that was 7 years ago. March 29th through April 5th, 2019. More than 7 years ago. So, hey, you feel old yet? Your Freedom Week is now 7 years old. That was 7 years ago, dude. It was a while ago. Time flies when you're having fun, okay? All right. Moving on from that, little bit of a white pill to start. Here's something that I know a few of you guys are going to be very excited about. We have another banger from Luke at TFB TV Showtime at GunCon. All right. The XTAR EP9. It's one of those technically USA made firearms that gives off Turkish impressions, right? Something about the design, the looks, the polymer, everything about it screams like cheap import, right? Like one of those knockoff firearms that would be mass produced in Turkey and then imported into the US. But no, this is a US produced, manufactured, owned by Americans company that just makes one of the least expensive PCCs on the market. And it's been around for a while. It's been around for many, many years at this point. It's one of those firearms that kind of flies under the radar for a lot of people because of its price tag, because these are, roughly $450, I want to say, in terms of the unit of measure to acquire one of these things, roughly $450, which is very, very inexpensive for a PCC, which gets some people excited. And for people, if you're looking for like a high quality firearm, it turns them off, right? There's a certain demographic of people where if the price is too low, they're not interested in it, right? Because they're like, well, I'm not going to risk wasting money here when I can just buy the more expensive thing that I want. They're very inexpensive. And they're also mostly polymer. Like, these things are incredibly lightweight. I think in the video, he says they weigh like 3.5 pounds. Like, so it's 3.5 pounds, mostly polymer, direct blowback. Now, if you guys saw the title already, what they've done is they've updated it to have a delayed blowback system. So they're calling it a modern delayed blowback. Their MDB, so the EP9 MDB, which is fantastic because we have even more letters and numbers thrown together in random strings that you will have to commit to memory. Otherwise, you won't be able to recall what anything is in the gun industry, because that is how we name all of our products. So it is a little bit more expensive. I think the acquisition cost increases by roughly 100 units of measure. So instead of being a sub 5 hundo, it's a sub 6 hundo type deal here. Listen, if you're already one of those guys who loves really cheap PCCs, I think it comes in a 6.5-inch variant, and I think they also make a 16-inch variant. So it's kind of like, it's the correct size. I think it's ugly AF, okay, to quote the kids out there these days. I think it's a remarkably ugly firearm with the plastic bridged handguard, or maybe hopefully that part's aluminum, although again, it's mostly polymer. So you have like polymer M-lock slots, polymer rail on top, polymer lower, or maybe I hope that top rail is aluminum. Either way, it's a very ugly firearm. But if you're somebody who's already in the market for something like this, it's cheap, it's cost effective, and now is delayed. Now, I don't remember exactly if he said what type of delay mechanism they're using. So let me see real fast. I'll get the gun off the screen so I don't scare YouTube. But let me see if I can figure out what version of delayed blowback, because there's roller delayed blowback, there's detent delayed blowback, there's radial delayed blowback. So there's a few other ways to get it done. And I'm just kind of looking to see if they give it in the transcript what type of blowback they use, because that would be super useful if they just tell me where it is, right? So let's see, roller delay. Okay, so it is roller delayed blowback. Now, again, even just saying, hey, it's roller delayed blowback doesn't really tell you all that much about how that's actually implemented, because there's a lot of other ways to get, there's a lot of different ways to implement a roller delayed blowback system, right? So even if it's just roller delayed blowback, doesn't mean it's going to be as effective as like an MP5 or something else like that. All right. Well, that is the EP9 MDB, 3.75 pounds, tiny little thing. It's going to be really, really inexpensive. And for some of you who already have one, like, that's the thing, actually, I'm curious. If you already have an EP9 XTAR, right? You have the standard direct blowback version. Are you going to buy another one that's in roller delay? Or are you just going to be fine with the one that you have? So I feel like this really isn't appealing to somebody if they already have an XTAR. It's only if they're already looking to acquire one, they're like, okay, but the better version is $100 more. I don't know. It's not my thing, okay? But I would expect to see these pop up at crime scenes in certain areas of the country in a rather short amount of time. Breakfast Paladin asks, does it take Glonk mags? And the answer is yes. Of course it takes Glonk mags. Nobody would buy it if it didn't take Glonk mags. It should be designed around high point magazines. Now that's a take. That's a take. It does look ugly though. Am I off here? You guys also think it's like one of the ugliest 9mm PCCs on the market, right? Like what would even be uglier? Like a GHM9 maybe? Is that uglier than this? Because a GHM9 is basically just a tube. But this has like weird like tumors sticking out of it. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But listen, I know people who like the EP9. Like, let's see. Honest Outlaw says the EP9 is reliable. Now, is him saying it's reliable? That's the question, okay? Who's more reliable, an EP9 or Honest Outlaw? Right? But I know people who like the EP9 who swear by it. I don't know why you would. Like, at best, you could say, hey, it's a really cheap product that works. I wouldn't ever call it high quality, right? You know, it's like, it's made out of the cheapest materials possible, that being mostly polymer, a little bit of aluminum and steel for the barrel and the bolt carrier group, and that's about it. Which you can get away with on a 9mm PCC, right? Because this might shock you to know, but most pistols shooting 9mm are also polymer framed, right? So polymer isn't necessarily a bad thing to use for a 9mm platform, but it doesn't scream high quality, and its best property is the fact that it's cheap. All right. Let's see. So, I mean, you can look at it here in all of its quote unquote glory. The more you look at it, like the worse it gets, right? It is not an attractive option. I think it's like $70 more expensive with an SBA 3 brace than it is with their terrible brace thing back here. Because remember, basically all of this is polymer. That's how you get down to that 3.5, 3.75 pound weight. Terrible, terrible looking firearm. But actually, I need to know personally, which one is worse looking? Because we have another firearm to talk about that I put on the thumbnail that I think is worse than the EP9. The EP9 is bad, okay? But it may not be as bad as the Groza. Oh, shoot. No, that's the wrong Groza. My bad. As the Groza, okay? Because we have Stuff and Things Inc. or Stink is finally releasing their Groza chassis for PSA cranks. Now, this is where the value proposition gets very, very strange. So let me look this up real fast because I'm pretty sure I remembered the price tag. I had to cut it out of the screenshot here, of course, because YouTube doesn't like that sort of thing. Let me see. Where did they put it? It's got to be somewhere on here. Where did you put it? There it is. Okay, so for the generic version, it is $425, and if you want the stock, which I don't know why you would want it without the stock, that would be $475, right? So I think these things are hideous though, right? Like they're short, they're like a circumcised AK, like they cut off the back and the front. Oh, it's a double circumcised AK. It's not an attractive looking firearm. All right, so which one looks worse? The Groza or the EP9? Also, it's like the Groza is one of those things where you're combining like the worst of all possible worlds, right? Where not only is it an AK, it's a short AK. Not only is it a short AK, it's a bullpup short AK without a stock. It's like such it's like the pug of weapon systems, okay? It's the pug of weapon systems. It's the English bulldog of weapon systems. It is gross, grotesque, hideous, okay? Terrifying to look at. The moment you've all been waiting for. Well, I don't know if anyone in the chat's been waiting for it. It's actually, so far, it's very even right now, with the Groza having a 1% lead, 2% lead now over the EP9. So, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Groza kits are here. Turn your crank into the famous OTS-14 bullpup, which we're calling the ST-14 because why wouldn't we? We can 100% confirm this kit works with the 300 Blackout, 7.62 by 39, And 556 PSA crinks. Light to heavy modification may be required on other models. Man, if you're like, hey, John, you're going to buy like, I don't know, what does a PSA AK go for now? Like north of $1,000, maybe a little under $1,000, somewhere in that range, right? It's a lot of money. And then you're dropping essentially another half piece on this kit. And then you're telling me I got to do all these modifications just to get the thing to actually fit together, depending on which model you buy, of course. I hope some are more plug and play than others. So also, I will say the one like little saving grace here, okay? 300 blackout subsonic in like a really small PDW-esque platform. Kind of cool. You could argue 762x39 subsonic does the same thing, but 300 blackout's easier to find and you have more load variety with it. So 300 blackout subsonic out of what are these, like 8-inch barrels, something like that, suppressed, really, really small platform. Probably doesn't have that much recoil with the subsonics. Could be all right. All right, we can 100% confirm that it works with, again, the PSA crinks. It will not fit anything other than a crank /AK74U. This kit includes the iconic carry handle with the installed rear sight. The rear sight has a notch and post option, as well as a peep or aperture sight with 100 and 200 yard elevations. Imagine trying to use these iron sights at like 500 yards, because again, these are pistol iron sights. Like your Glock 34 probably has a longer sight radius and a more advantageous positioning, considering your face is right behind these, than these Groza sights or than these OTS 14 sights, whatever you want to call them. All right. Both with 100, 200 yard elevation adjustment. It also includes the grip module with an installed forward trigger and trigger guard. Keep in mind that while AK grips will technically fit, some may interfere with magazine removal operation because you have the curved boys. So you got to be careful with that. So probably the straightest grip you can find, which I understand acquiring a straight grip as an AK user might be a little bit difficult. Some may interfere with magazine removal operation. If the mag hits your grip of choice, you can easily modify the magazine itself. See installation video. Lastly, the kit comes with a replacement internal trigger and the requisite linkage. The stock is available separately. So again, the cheap model doesn't come with the stock, which if you're just like smashing that rear trunnion into your shoulder while putting your cheek directly on the dust cover, like that has got to be one of the most uncomfortable operations of a firearm imaginable, right? That is terrible. That is awful. Built-in Hydra mount, says Cody. You know, the height over bore is probably about the same as a Hydra mount on an AR, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's got to be like 3.5 inches. So it might be like a 193 or a 22. It's rather tall. All right. Stock is sold separately. If you install the stock without a pin and welded barrel extension, this will make your crank an SBR, which is true, even though it's $0 tax stamp still. Picatinny mount for the carry handle will also be available upon release. Current orders will receive this for a limited time free. So I think they're talking about if you were to pre-order now, because again, the pre-order is open. These haven't actually hit shelves yet. Although again, stuff and things, I think they have a relatively good reputation, so I don't think you need to be terrified of them not fulfilling your order at some point in time. It does just look weird, doesn't it? There's something about it that's just so wrong. So wrong. Vintage welfare, it looks like total doo-doo feces, true. Now, because it still has 2 trigger guards on it, right? You got the rear trigger guards that's still there, and then you got the front trigger guard with a trigger in it. Now, what would be super funny is if the rear trigger guard still had a trigger inside, so you had dual triggers for it, so you could like try and fan the triggers with both hands or something. That would be kind of funny, right? Obviously, operating the safety on one of these things is like, just don't do it. Like on these, like legitimately, this is your safety, right? Because like, I'm trying to think like, how do you hold on to it without a foregrip? You actually need a foregrip on this rifle. It's actually a requirement that you have a foregrip on this rifle. Like you must have a foregrip on this rifle, pistol, whatever it is, SBR. And then the stock is optional, which I think the stock is not optional at all. I think if you don't shoot this with the stock, you're like insane. I think that's honestly more terrifying. If you bought the crank, you bought the OTS 14 kit, the Groza bullpup kit, and you can't afford the extra $50 for the stock, I think you're insane. One-handed only. This would probably go really hard as a dual wield system in like Modern Warfare 2, or as like a vehicle gun, like a motorcycle gun, right? Because I think this is something Nut and Fancy talked about like 10 years ago with bullpups in his philosophy of use videos, right? It was like, if he's having to do something on a quad or on a motorcycle or a dirt bike or something like that, like what's a rifle you can actually use one-handed effectively? And the answer is a bullpup. Like you can use, like especially a short, small one like this, like a Micron or something, you can use a bullpup relatively effectively one-handed, so you can have your other hand free to, you know, operate a vehicle or whatever else it happens to be. Too Many Choices says Fallout approved. It's like, obviously it's just a bullpupped AK, but it looks like it belongs in like a Star Wars set somewhere, or a post-apocalyptic movie, or a steampunk universe, or something like that, right? The OG Groza did have a forward mounted grip option, and I think they're talking about having something like that for purchase in the future, like an add-on. But at launch, I don't think it's going to come with anything like that, because I think the way I would do it is to like the AUG, where you have the under barrel like Picatinny section out here, right? So you have something that clamps or attaches up here somehow, and then an under suppressor, under barrel section where you can have your secondary grip for your other hand. And then, as much as I dislike carry handle optics mounts, like the only way to make this usable, and I'm like, why are we even trying to make this usable? This is a second kind of cool. To quote Nut and Fancy once again, this is a vibe-based gun. This is not a usable gun. This is a retro match gun where you're just out there to be wacky. You're not trying to win. But the way to get the most performance out of this is to use the carry handle pick rail to mount a real optic onto it, because I guarantee you those iron sights are, one, probably mediocre, but also just the placement is awful. The sight radius is awful. They're not going to work great for you. Right. It is kind of like the AI gun. If you ask Grok to bullpup an AK, maybe that would be a fun thought experiment real fast. Maybe if we just ask Grok to bullpup an AK, let's see what happens. And see if it spits out the Groza. Because that would actually be really funny, wouldn't it? I'm going to do that real fast for your guys' personal entertainment. Bro's filibustering. Filibustering? What are you talking about? I'm literally here to talk. I'm literally here to do nothing more than that. Oh, actually, perfect. That's there. I'm just asking it to bullpup this rifle. I uploaded a picture of an AK and said, bullpup this rifle. Unbelievable. Says it can't do that. What is your problem? Grok has failed me once again. All right, let's see here. Well, before we move on to that, I do want to try and get this done real fast. I got to try, okay? Now that I'm on this path, I can't. I've come too far to turn around now. Let's see what it does, okay? This gun made John late to his match. It's possible. You never know. Now, here's the other thing that we haven't really talked about too much. Oh, dude, this is way better. Now, it's a completely different gun, but this is way better for sure. Like, this just looks like what? Like an L86? That's what Grok spit out in like 4 seconds, but it's just an L86. So, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's just a different lower receiver that actually has like a longer length of pull. See, even Grok realized that you needed more length of pull. Yeah. It's a bullpup, that's for sure. Anyways, the value proposition is like awful, isn't it? Because this is something for people who are like, because I don't think you can get Grozas in the US. I don't think you can get the OTS 14 in the US at all, right? So this is for people who are not interested in performance or in value. This is literally because the Groza is like their favorite gun and they have to have it, right? That's it. Like, there's no value proposition in mind. There's no real use case in mind. It's like, it looks cool. I want to have one. Perfect. All right. Let's go ahead and move on from that, shall we? Because Lightspore was in the chat and he said, John, you have to show my meme because we're talking about AKs still somehow. We talked about the OKP last week, and now we have the OKP2, which is like an even better version of it. But I actually think this one is worse. And not just because it's, Lead and Steel, and Lead and Steel and I don't necessarily have the best history. Now, here's what are they? Something machine. They're coming out with these that are made overseas, and they're going to be like $300, and they're essentially an OKP, a replica site made, in some Russian speaking country somewhere that's of relatively high quality. However, Lead and Steel was like, yeah, we're actually going to make one as well. It's probably going to be a better site, but worse in terms of like why you would actually buy one, because it's not really a retro site. So this is from Gun Quality Enforcement on Instagram saying all this talk about OKP optics. So I reached out to Lead and Steel to see about their OKP7 they were working on and if it was still coming. Well, here it is, looking like a Q4 of this year and being sold through the brand Riot Labs. This is the OKP7 style optic they've been working on, not the eBay OKP. Price is going to be about $200. Now, it's kind of an ugly design, just like the raw design of the optic is always going to be ugly. There's no way you can get around that. What Lead and Steel have chosen to do here is to make it more modern looking in some ways and to make it a little bit more usable. But I just don't think people were ever interested in this thing being usable in the first place, right? I mean, here's a little bit more of a zoomed in image so you guys can see it a little bit better. So, I mean, it's got real buttons on the side. It's got, screws and actually like an enclosed big window on there. It's got recessed elevation and windage, so it looks a little bit more professional. It's probably a little bit more rugged, all the things that some people certainly care about. But again, much like the Groza we just discussed, I don't think people care about function. They want it to look the way they want it to look. So like when you're buying this thing, right, you don't care about that. You want this, right? You want the OG look. You want as hideous and disgusting as it is, you're trying to get that, Cold War, AK, early red dot sight technology vibe to it, right? You're trying to find something that looks like the original. You're cloning essentially, right? You don't want I don't want the modernized version of it. I don't care that this is like 10% more useful. It's still probably a bad optic, right? In no way, shape, or form do I want an optic that, one, hangs off the side of my gun, is designed to be mounted to an AK, which first off, ew. Second off, it's a very, very, very exposed emitter, which I don't believe really belongs on a duty rifle to begin with. And they're like cheap, right? A couple $100 is not super expensive. But at the same time, like you can get a Holosun ARO or an ARO Evo for less money and get a way, way better option. So sure, this one might be a little bit better than this one, but for the target audience, like, do they actually care? Is that something they're actually concerned with? I don't think so. I don't think people actually care. I think people want the original, not like a 2026 remake, okay? I know we're in the year of the slop buster, the year of the remake, or the era of the remake where we're just running on the fumes of nostalgia because nobody's making anything new. We have nothing new to aspire towards. We're merely trying to hold on to the memories of the past. And, that's what retro rifles are in right now. And it's so hot. It's so cool. And to me, it's just like, I don't know, guys, can we do something new? Can we do something interesting instead of like reinventing the same thing 12 times and trying to make a profit off of AK nerds? Like, is that really what we're doing? Jim Eagle says, super chat goal for you to shoot a match with this dot on a PSA Groza. Oh, buddy. Jim. Well, listen, okay. That means I would have to buy an optic from Lead and Steel, which is like, just the cost is $200. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. That would also mean that I would have to buy a PSA AK. And I really don't want to do that. And that's like $1,000. And then I'd have to buy a Stuff and Things chassis, which I don't have anything against Stuff and Things. But I have to spend another $500 on the chassis. So we're talking like a $1,700 deal here. Like this is a large investment. And I don't think the audience wants it enough. And I don't want it either, honestly. So I don't think I want it enough. I don't think the audience wants it enough. So it's probably never going to happen. Probably never going to happen. That would be my guess. All right. Hey, Richard, hope you're doing well. Hope the doggo made it through okay on Wednesday because his dog was having some issues, had surgery on Wednesday. So I hope everything is going quite well there. Good, sir. Hope you're all doing well. The cost is to your soul. That true. Have a good night, Jarrett. Appreciate you, sir. Have a good night out there. Around the Fire says, I can send you some AKs to play with. No, because that means I have to buy AK ammo. No, literally, guys, my plan with the Wasser is to shoot the last of the ammo that I have for it and then get rid of it. Never shoot it again. Never talk about it again. Pretend it doesn't exist, right? Like, I don't need to shoot AKs anymore. I think AKs are done in the American market unless something drastically changes, right? Who's a big player in the American market for AKs? PSA. It's like, I think it's dead, guys. I think it's Jover. I think the American, I think the American AK market is Jover. And yeah, I have a Wasser. The Wasser's fine. But again, I don't want to spend the money on ammo for it. Total AK Death. Tad. Has a nice ring to it. Tank says, can I have it when you're done with it? Sure. Why not? All right, let's go. Also a good point. Vintage Welfare for 5 says, no way you could pay me money to put my face on top of a PSA AK dust cover, especially not one of their small bore 74 pattern ones that have a habit of losing headspace. That's a very good point. That's a very, very good point. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't be putting our face next to the ones that are known for losing headspace. I feel like that is just a recipe for disaster. All right, now speaking, guys, of recipes for disasters, we have large frame AR-10 chambered in 3030 from a really inexpensive American manufacturer, manufactured by illegal hands, or at least used to be manufactured by illegal hands before ICE raided their facility. The Bear Creek Arsenal BA-10 or BC-10, I want to say, chambered in 3030. And because it's chambered in 3030, because it's an AR-10 base, you know that it's a side charger, a right side charging Bear Creek Arsenal AR-10. Look at the duality of man here. First off, Jake's in the chat and has a beer. It's good. 3030 is tarded. Too many choices is drooling. Bud AF. What are we even doing here? Gotta love that. Based? 4 FUDs by FUDs? Yeah, no, I'm just gonna say no. I'm just going to say no. No, thank you. Now, there's a whole article right up on it from American Hunter, NRA American Hunter, I should say. New for 2026, Bear Creek Arsenal 3030 uppers. Now, the first thing that popped to my mind, and I'll have to look at this, what the heck is a 3030 magazine for an AR-10 lower? Do they just fit? Like, they can't, right? There's no way they fit on an AR-10 like standard DP or standard like Magpul magazine, right? No way. It's not possible. It's not real. Can't hurt you. Probably can in this case. Bear Creek Arsenal is expanding its lineup with a new 3030 Winchester rifle and upper options, bringing one of America's most recognized hunting calibers into modern sporting rifle configurations. Hey, there's that word again. The 3030 Winchester has remained a trusted hunting cartridge for generations due to its dependable performance, balanced recoil, and effectiveness at short to moderate distances. Often referred to as a classic brush gun, the caliber 3030 was favored by hunters who needed quick handling and reliable stopping power in thick terrain and fast-moving hunting environments commonly used for deer, feral hog, and other medium-sized game. The cartridge continues to be a popular option among hunters across the country. Now, for specifically the BC-10, 20-inch Parkerized barrel, which isn't 30-30. It's a rimmed case. It's not particularly long, right? Like it's a, it's not a short action, but it's a relatively short case. Does it really need a 20-inch barrel on a 30-30? Right? Do we actually need a 20-inch barrel on a 30-30? Are we getting any benefit out of a 20-inch barrel? Right side charging handle and rear side charging options. I think I went to the website. The only one I could find was right side charging. Now, I think this article is just wrong. Well, maybe it's, I don't know, mid-length. Maybe that's a mid-length, but it's pretty far out there. I think that's a rifle length. On a 20-inch barrel, I'm pretty sure that's a rifle length gas system. Then it has their M-LOK handguard. Now, if we go back over to the website real fast, where's the description? Dude, their website's so bad, dude. It doesn't even have like a description of the thing. It's just like, oh shoot, I can't show that. Anyways, handguard, blah blah blah, 8.2 pounds, 5-round magazine, SOCOM barrel, twist 1 in 12, Parkerized, non-fluted, says mid-length. It looks like rifle, but maybe it's just a mid-length. Anything else on here? Frequently asked questions, blah blah blah. Let's see here. Okay, now I did pull up the magazine, and they are 5-round proprietary magazines, I guess. Is that the best way to put it? But look how hideous these are. Look how terrible these are. Now, I get it. They're making it a single stack. They're making it's a rimmed case, so you got to be careful that you don't get rim lock when you're loading them, which is why this probably wouldn't be that great of a candidate for a double stack magazine. But I don't know. Who here is excited for a 5-round 30-30 AR-10? And the magazine looks like, I don't know if it's aluminum or polymer. Here, let me check real fast. But it's literally just 2 pieces clamshelled together with a spring on the inside. And of course, it doesn't even tell you what it's made out of. Dude, their website's so bad. It doesn't have any description, nothing on it. The quote unquote specs aren't even there. What is their problem? Also, guys, the magazine cost, one 5-round magazine is $100. That's way too much money for a 5-round magazine for a meme caliber meme gun from a trash tier company. Now, the complete rifle is only like $900 something, which is again, it's Bear Creek Arsenal quality, so it's not like it's the best thing ever. Their side chargers, the Gen 2 side chargers, at least don't fall off on their own, but it's guarantee you it's a crappy barrel, crappy bolt, cheap upper, cheap handguard, terrible furniture, cheap lower, crappy muzzle device. It's everything about it is low quality, bad quality. Even if it does run, I don't know, who's buying a 10-pound AR-10 for hunting with a 30-30? Doesn't even make sense. Pauly B says a FUD and his money are soon parted. That is a wise saying and often true, good sir. All right. Well, I don't think you guys are particularly excited about this. I don't think you guys want to spend $1,000 on a BCA rifle. I don't think you want to spend $100 on a 5-round magazine. And I think this is mostly just for FUDs. Not even FUDs. What's the overlap of hunting FUDs and Bear Creek Arsenal owners? Is it a lot? Is this your grandpa who owns 10 Bear Creek Arsenals and he's oh, finally they got one in 30-30. It would be cool if it wasn't BCA. Would it though? If some other company came out with a 5-round 30-30 AR-10, would that be cool? Would it be cool? I don't think so. Around the Fire says, wait, this isn't the rage bait section? No, not yet, good sir. Not yet. All right. Let's go ahead and we got a real quick update, and then we're going to get to something funny, I hope. Okay, I just saw Ben Steger post something making fun of one Shrek McPhee, and I want to make fun of Shrek McPhee too, okay? So I will not be denied. Now, where did I put it? There it is. Perfect. All right. But before we get to that, B&T USA, B&T AG, they have been fighting it out over the last several months to figure out, okay, who has control over what? Because B&T USA was not fulfilling their orders, was not shipping products, was not meeting demand goals, was lying to B&T AG, which is the parent company that sold them the rights to sell B&T products in the USA, of course, because B&T is not an American company. And so they were fighting it out back and forth with the original owner and founder of B&T, trying to regain control of the USA brand as it was faltering, failing its customers. I mean, you can look up the drama, like 6 months lead time, 9 months lead time, selling products in the US that they weren't buying from B&T AG. That was a big one, right? So they'd be placing orders like for products that they weren't importing, basically. So they're taking customers' money without shipping them product. Big no-no, don't do that, right? That's called fraud. But as of today, or as of yesterday, I should say, B&T AG has regained full control of the B&T brand in the United States. B&T AG has reached a comprehensive settlement resolving all outstanding disputes between the parties. As part of this agreement, all pending litigation will be dismissed, enabling both parties to move forward under a clearly defined transition framework. Now that the legal matters have been resolved and the U.S. trademarks are back under control of B&T AG, which probably means, if I had to guess, we'll probably never know the exact details, but they were like, listen, B&T USA, you owe us X amount of dollars. You have the technical rights to our logo, right, and stuff like that. Why don't we just call it even? We get the rights to our name back, and you get to pay a reduced amount of debt or something like that, right? Whether they added some cash on top, whether they just forgave the debts, the actual details of it, we probably won't know, but there was something like that, I imagine. We are pleased to announce that a new, wholly Swiss-owned U.S. operation will be established later this year. This is an exciting new chapter for B&T in the United States, ensuring that customers will again experience the Swiss engineering, uncompromising craftsmanship, and premium service that will define B&T. Now, that is actually good to hear, because again, B&T USA has been failing to meet its customer service and quality goals. It's had some issues with some suppressors and pistols and parts in the US, that have kind of plagued its track record as of late. So hopefully B&T AG, by taking direct control of the company, can implement some better manufacturing processes, quality control processes, and hopefully have the customer service to back it up. Right. Hopefully that's the goal. Now, B&T in America has a very high reputation. It's like, oh, it's a Swiss company and Swiss craftsmanship. But over in Europe, they're like a more standard brand. They're a more generic brand over in Europe than they are here in the US. In the US, we look at them as more of a boutique, high-end firearms type stuff. In Europe, again, they're more standard. All right. We are currently establishing the necessary infrastructure, licenses, and team in the United States to provide a reliable supply chain, customer support, and direct access to authentic Swiss-made firearms and accessories. We are also looking forward to introducing our range of Swiss suppressor designs to the U.S. market. So they already have a zillion suppressor designs out right now. So they're going to be bringing out even more from the Swiss market into the U.S. market. Fair enough. While continuing to support existing B&T platforms. Having listened carefully to the feedback from the U.S. market, we remain fully committed to delivering the high-quality service, long-term customer support that our customers have come to expect from B&T. The establishment of this Swiss-owned operation reflects our commitment to safeguarding the brand's integrity and maintaining the highest service standards for years to come. And if you go over to their website right now, I believe this is what you'll find actually on their website is if you look at, it's the big banner basically. June 25th, 2026, B&T AG and B&T USA have reached a comprehensive settlement resolving all outstanding disputes, blah, 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 blah. And B&T USA is still handling, for the time being, the warranty, service, technical supports, and parts. So I'm sure there will be more updates to come in the future, but before we get to the very, very exciting white papers of pistol dots versus iron sights, I just saw Ben Sager talk about this, which is actually probably a really good example of what not to do. I episodes because we have one Shrek McPhee, lauded Delta Team operator and storyteller. How much of his stories are actually true? Well, I'll leave that up to you. I know that back when they were a thing, the Anti-Hero podcast had done some good work on Shrek McPhee and some of his stories that seemed to be dubious at best. However, part of what Shrek does is going to be firearms training and teaching people how to use a weapon effectively. Now, his takes are a little bit old school, just a little bit. What is everybody doing here? Why is everybody putting the arrows in the chat? Somebody say something funny? I don't know. Okay, whatever, guys. I'm getting distracted now.
You put the gun in the fire.
So, anyways, in his own words, let's see what Shrek McPhee is recommending to new shooters that, again, he trains and charges lots of money to do so.
You put the gun in the firing hand, you point it at the ground. All you have to do is get the front sight in the middle of the back sight in line with the shoulder. Once the gun's in line with the firing arm, as a right-handed shooter, it's going to...
What? This is the first time. You're telling me this for the first time. I have to have my... I mean, it's great veinage on the arm. Very veiny arm, okay? I appreciate that. But it's got to be in line with the arm? Are you sure about
with the shoulder? Once the gun's in line with the firing arm, as a right-handed shooter, it's going to take away any left side of the target issues. So the index has to be the first thing we get right with grip. Hand.
Huh. If the sights are in line with the arm, it takes care of any issues with the left side of the target. Wow, I wish I had known that. I wish I had known that. If I had just had the gun aligned in my dominant hand, like I wouldn't have any issues with the left side of the target. Are you sure about that? I don't know. Maybe you should get with like Haley Strategic and talk about like biomechanical alignment or something like that.
Placement. You got two hands have to be on the gun. Firing hand, finger extended, thumb up. Thumb has to be up because it gives...
Sorry, okay. That's an airsoft gun, by the way, YouTube. Do not kill me for an airsoft gun, okay? That is obviously a plastic toy, YouTube. Do not kill me for a plastic toy, okay?
Be on the gun. Firing hand, finger extended, thumb up. Thumb has to be up because it gives more room for the non-firing hand to grab the gun higher and be in a better place on the gun.
I'm definitely not playing with one right now, but... No, you can put your thumb down. You can put your thumb in a lot of really wacky places, actually, and it doesn't affect your support hand at all. Like, not that I'm doing it right now with a Ross Martin, what is this piece of crap, RM1C. But, yeah, no, you can do all sorts of wacky things with your hand, like lots of it. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's true, Mr. Shrek.
And how we do this, my non-firing hand, I make an L and I point the L forward. I stick them together. This is my grip.
No way, dude. You're a kid. You put your thumb all the way forward like that? Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. This way. Put your... Like this? I mean, like this? What is he talking about? We got to see that. I need to see that demonstrated once again. I'm sorry, what?
Have the gun higher and be in a better place on the gun. And how we do this, my non-firing hand, I make an L and I point the L forward. I stick them together. This is my grip. The hands being as high as possible on the gun gives you more control over the gun. Everyone's already told you this and no one showed you how to place your hands. Shoulders have to be square and level to the target. Shoulders need to touch your earmuff and we need to straighten.
I'm sorry, what? Shoulders need to touch your earmuffs?
Square and level to the target. Shoulders need to touch your earmuff and we need to straighten and...
Dude, this would make for a great thumbnail picture. Right here. Shoulders need to touch your earmuffs. I'm pretty sure that's one of the things you're like not supposed to do is like if you could not tense up your shoulders while shooting, it actually helps a lot. Like that's just so uncomfortable. What if we have in-ears? Like, what if we just have like foamies? Really? You shoot like this? You shoot like this? Why? Why would you do that? That seems miserable. I don't know. I like just relax. Maybe I'm crazy, but I relax my shoulders. Is that, or try to anyways? Is that crazy?
Your earmuff, and we need to straighten and lock our arms. The more our arms are locked, the more we can hold the arms locked, the steadier the gun will become. Get the arms completely straight, completely locked up. Once you put the gun...
Dude, that last part is so perfect for a YouTube poop. The more locked the locked, we can lock the lock. Stay locked in. The more locked we can lock. Now remember to lock your grip in lock. Lock your grip in locked in. L, locked in.
To touch your earmuff, and we need to straighten and lock our arms. The more our arms are locked, the more we can hold the arms locked, the steadier the gun will become. Get the arms completely straight, completely locked up.
No. Well, I do like that idea though, where people are like, and this is a common idea, of course, like there's maximum shoulder tension. All right, I got my shoulders in the right position, right? I got my shoulders in the right position. No bend in the arms. Let me see if I can recreate the shooting stance here, okay? No bend in the arms, all the way out. And then I have one L all the way forward, like that. And then like this. And that's how I grip the gun. Oh, man, like all the way out? Oh, this is awful. I don't think this is terrible. I don't want to do this. No, I don't think so. Okay, buddy. Did he just give us the Delta secret handshake? Yeah, maybe. I don't want to do that. That seems very uncomfortable. Anyways, let's get to your super chats first, actually, and then we're going to talk about some very, very exciting white papers talking about the effects of pistols with red dots versus iron sights on a wide variety of shooters and whether or not they are efficacious for human beings. Not the Shrek technique. The Shrek technique is not efficacious for human beings. Free kill 123100 for 5 says TFW used to own a 25-06 Marine Arms AR-10. Killed many deer with it. Well, I mean, that's novel. 25-06. That may be like the first or second time I've ever heard that caliber mentioned. But okay, 25-06, cool enough. Thank you, Free Kill. Appreciate that, sir. V Wood Woes. V Wood Woes. New member. Okay, all right. I eat Jews. Oh, that's so funny. You didn't even read the sign. That's good. The Grizzly Bear for 10 says, I'm writing a cookbook. It's called Bear Appetit. I named a recipe in your honor, John. I call it Campbell's soup. Can you guess who the main ingredient is? That's good. Thank you, Grizzly Bear. Dude, I saw a video the other day of a woman. Of course it was a woman. She didn't have firearms. I think somebody sent it to me on Instagram. And she was attempting to fight off a bear with her dog by like being loud and yelling at it, which I think women think is very effective, right? I don't know how useful that really is. Also, I feel really bad. Oh, Jarrett, I know that you super chatted a 5 on Rumble, but I just refreshed the page and it disappeared. So I no longer have that, oh, Jarrett, but I'm pretty sure it said Christ is king, God is good. And we agree with that, oh, Jarrett. But if you want me to read it out, just don't send it again. Just like DM it to me. Sorry about that. It literally disappeared on me. Amorite Boy for 2 says late and gay like the Cord AI. Yeah, Discord AI is going a little crazy on everybody for no reason at all. It's not like we've ever done anything wrong, right, Amorite Boy? Just Some Space Cowboy for 5 says big win for the Commonwealth. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Space Cowboy. Vandalay, stop making fun of me. Jim Eagle for 5 says happy Friday. Prayer request for my coach, Brandon Meneses, in his bare knuckle fight tonight. BKFC high stakes also. Can we cool it with the gun news? Possible. Well, hey, let's look him up real fast. I hope that if it's going on right now, I hope he wins, dude. Good for you. Best of luck out there. Prayers for the best outcome possible. Let me see. I can't spell at all, even though it's literally right in front of me. All right. Thank you, Jim Eagle. I appreciate that, good sir. Lightspore for 2 says, you better show my lead and steel meme. I did. I did it for you. Okay. I saw you post it. I can't I can't not do that. Thank you, Lightsport. David Adkisson, David Dadkisson, David Adkiss son. Man, there's so many different ways to interpret these couple of words slapped together. For 5 says, found focus trip 2 weeks ago, caught up on 2 years and gun tube drama and happening since. Hilarious. God bless. Well, God bless you too. I appreciate that, man. There's quite a bit of backlog for you to go through. Appreciate the support, man. Vintage Welfare for 5 says, no way you could pay me money to put my face on top of a PSA AK dust cover, especially not one of their small bore 74 pattern ones. That does not sound very fun. All right. Thank you, Vintage Welfare. Appreciate that. Amorai Boy for 2 says, BCA also makes a 30-06 extra large frame one. Yeah, is it like their Magnum or something like that? All right. Thank you very much, Amorai Boy. Mark 115 says Atramentar, which means I'll have to look that up. Let's find out. Mark 115, which is simply the time has come. He said, the kingdom of God has come near. Repent and believe the good news. Well, thank you very much for that, Atramentar. Appreciate that, good sir. Hope you're having a good night out there. Polly B for 2 says, a FUD and his money are soon parted. Yes, indeed. There's still a big market, as we've seen on last week's reports of the industry. It is a huge market out there for FUD-like items. My coach, Brandon Fighting right now. Menes says, Bare Knuckle Fight Club on Prime. Well, I tried to Google it real fast to see what popped up, but I haven't seen if he's has fought, if the bout has gone on, if he's won, what exactly has happened. Best of luck out there. Thank you, Jim Eagle. Art Vandalay for 2 says, John, spell efficacious. You know I can't. Like, don't even ask. You know I can't. I know generally what the word means. That's about it, okay? Black Flag for 10 says, my wife just walked in and caught me trying to mimic McPhee's 2008 era shooting stance. How cooked am I? Well, it's fine. Just tell her that you're watching Shrek on TV. Shrek told you to do it because Shrek is love, Shrek is life. All right. Actually, you know what? To absolve yourself from the embarrassment of doing the Shrek thing, in front of her, just show her Shrek is love, Shrek is life. And then I think she'll have different types of questions. Oh, it's in the 3rd round right now? Heck yeah. Well, listen, if I could illegally stream it right now and watch it live with you guys, I totally would. That would be hilarious. If it was on like YouTube or something like that. All right. Over on Ko-Fi. Let's see. BF4 Chode for 10 says, just found out today my wife is pregnant with our 4th child. I am beyond stoked. Please send prayers for her. Christ is King. Christ is King, and congratulations on your 4th child. That is good to hear. We got to do our part, okay? And part of our duty is to be fruitful and multiply, not be fruity and blow a guy, okay? So you are definitely being fruitful and multiplying. Congratulations, good sir. Best of luck. Andrew Webb for 5 says, in White Pill News, I was a jury foreman this past week for a federal trial and found 2 pedos based guilty on charges they fled from 6 years ago. Had to convince 4 jury members to vote guilty. Well, listen, Andrew Webb, great job out there. Get those pedos, get them the maximum sentence imaginable. Very, very based of you, good sir. Thank you for doing that. I know everybody hates doing jury duty. Everybody hates being a part of that organization and all the time and energy that it takes, but you did the right thing. You did a good job. Berserker for 5 says, you literally called it. Brass Facts did a GTFO PDW bag gun video, but it wasn't the Flux Pharaoh. I mean, there's a certain type, okay? There's a certain type that likes bag guns, that likes PDWs. You know what I'm saying? Brass Facts is one of those types, okay? It's just certain things appeal to certain people. That's all. It's not bad. I'm just saying. All right. Now, let's get to some red dots, shall we? This is going to be very, very exciting. White paper analysis by yours truly here. So, Comparative Pistol Project Final Report, James E. Ryan, Department of Justice Studies and Sociology, Norwich University. Jeff, Norwich University. Anyways, Scrolling down to the project, this project examined the comparative effectiveness of traditional iron pistol sights with Trichicon Inc.'s red dot optic sight. 27 students from Norwich University participated by undergoing a simulated training course of fire using the International Defensive Pistol Association IDPA silhouette targets for 4 different stages. 13 students used iron sights and 14 students used optics. The results of the project indicated that there was a statistical significant difference favoring the optic for hits on paper in stage 1, 15-yard slow fire, and for accuracy, hits near center of the massive targets for all 4 stages of fire. Now, that's like the initial blurb right there. That's like the obvious part. But if we scroll down there's a little bit more in there. So this project examined the possible benefits of shooting a pistol with traditional 3-dot iron sights versus a pistol equipped with Trichicon Inc.'s red dot sight, formerly titled the ruggedized miniature reflex sight, and hereafter referred to as the RMR. Proficiencies with pistols is a requirement for most persons engaged in law enforcement. Federal, state, and local agencies all have qualifications, which are basically jokes, as well as requalifications, which again is just requalifying the joke. Criteria that personnel must meet. Most requirements include demonstrated skill in a variety of qualifying relays. For instances, the published relays provided by the Connecticut Police Academy include firing distances of 2 to 25 yards, the use of both the strong and weak side and hand time limitations, holstering, combat reloads, all with stringent accuracy standards. Training to and maintaining an acceptable level of handgun proficiency is challenging task. The red dot style sight might be beneficial in addressing a series of defensive pistol issues. For instance, an illuminated red dot might make shooting with both eyes open easier. I think that's just totally a training thing. I don't think it makes that easier. But let's go ahead and scroll down here. So the way that they're scoring it, zone 1 is green, zone 2 orange, zone 3 red, so on and so forth. The firearm used was a Glock 19. So Glock 19 sights, stock sights, not great. MOS with an RMR, obviously significantly better than stock iron sights on a Glock. So the analysis for this test consisted of 2 elements. The first and most important part of the analysis was that of the test firing. In addition, the authors included an analysis of the shooter experience between the groups as a check on group comparability, details following. So the entire test firing for each subject consisted of 52 shots. Each student fired a total of 5 targets, 1 each, for stages 1 through 3, and 2 targets for stage 4. And so each subject produced a total of 5 targets. All targets were labeled with a student identifying number and the stage. Ultimately, 27 students took part in the test, yielding 135 separate targets. One of the authors took possession of the targets for analysis of both number of hits on the target and the placement of those hits. So if we scroll down here a little bit, you can see that for the different stages, the percentage of hits, iron sights were always lower than the RMR. So the RMR percentage of hits on paper, which is like really minimal, right? Like if we're just asking them to hit an IDPA style target at like 5 yards, 10 yards, it's kind of bad, right? Now the RMR always averaged near 100% hits on paper. However, the iron sights on stage 1, like 60% on paper. Well, like 75% on paper. Not great, right? So iron sights lagging way behind, whereas the RMR is nearly always 100%. And again, this is for all the different levels of skill within the group. The RMR is just always significantly better. Figure 2. Now here's where it's like a huge difference, right? So remember, if we go back up to the zones, zone 1 is the best. Zone 2 is like the C zone. Zone 3 is like, well, you got to hit anyways. Now, zone 1 hits on the RMR, over 50% for all people hitting in zone 1, right? That's really good. For iron sights, down below 30. Now, when you look at the other 2, it's like, oh, but they had a higher percentage of zone 2 and 3 hits. And it's like, well, yes, because again, the RMR had the bulk of its hits in zone 1, regardless of shooter. And then again, stage 2 hits by zone in percentage points. And again, the RMR is about 15% higher zone 1 hits versus 2 and 3 on the iron sights, meaning that the hits that are on paper are significantly better with the irons, with the RMR. So not only Does it just physically hit the paper more often, but the hits are much better? Like, it's just obvious. Stage 3, hits by zone. Again, the RMR beats it, with the other two being beaten by the iron sights because, of course, the bulk of the hits are in zone 1 for the RMRs, and this pattern continues throughout. So, conclusion. This comparative pistol project indicated the Trijicon Inc.'s RMR was more effective than traditional iron sights. The results suggest that trainees in military and law enforcement specialities may gain proficiency more efficiently with the RMR. In addition, the RMR is useful for seasoned professionals because the people in the test, keep in mind, were sort of like skill measured up to one another. So there was a varying level of skill on both teams, the iron sight teams and the red dot teams. Now, Aaron Cowan, who is on the thumbnail of the video, also has a white paper. There's 2 separate white papers, 2 different studies on this same topic. And the reason why we're talking about it is because, well, FUDs like Shrek still exist and they still put out content and they still say stupid, retarded things. So I feel like it's important to actually go through like some quantifiable data that's been compiled by people with a lot of time and money on their hands, right? All right. So, table of contents, let's see. So, the document marks a culmination of 4 years of research, testing, field use, and evaluation of miniaturized red dot sights for duty purposes. The original hypothesis was that an MRDS is not only more efficient than traditional iron sights for the duty handgun, but that the MRDS would provide distinct advantages not possible with proper iron sight use. Specifically, MRDS would allow for a shorter learning period to proper accuracy for mandated firearms training and qualification, and allow officers to maintain proficiency easier due to the less complex optical methods used to properly aim with the MRDS. Additionally, the MRDS allows the officer to maintain a constant focus on the target, which can significantly improve threat awareness, help mitigate mistake effect shootings, and aid in more precise round placement over traditional iron sights. All of that is true, right? You just have more situational awareness because there's less cluttering up whatever it happens to be that you're actually looking at. Focus mentioned. Unbelievable. All right, so let's summary. Do anything exciting here? Let's actually just skip all the way down because he goes through all of it. You know, he's very thorough in your white paper, which is what you want. You want, you know, everything to be laid out as much as possible so that there's no that's a funny mount, so that there's, you know, no mistakes about what was being used, how the tests were being conducted and whatnot, so that hopefully there's a higher level of repeatability, right? You know, he's talking about holsters, care, durability, yada yada yada, talking about the different round counts that he's done on, you know, at this point a host of different guns and optics. Let's see, scrolling down. So he uses an interesting target. He goes through some scientific jargon. Where does it come down to? It's a long paper, okay? Now, it does show the differences in sight picture, right? So now this is wrong because you should still be target focused even with iron sights. You're just waiting for that confirmation and trusting on your index, right? So the confirmation with a red dot is just the dot. A hot dot. Whenever that dot is where you're looking, that's what gives you permission to fire. With the iron sights, it's the exact same thing. You're still picking a spot on your target, whatever that happens to be, and you're waiting for that front sight, you know, hopefully the rest of it as well, with a proper index to give you that confirmation, that permission to fire. All right. Scrolling all the way down, though, it'll become very, very obvious. He actually goes through the prior study by Gerwich. Now, here are his targets, which are a little different that he was using. So, let's see. MRDS rounds fired by scenario. So, scenario A, rounds fired, 64, rounds hit, 50. Critical hits are the ones in red that were shown above, and so on and so forth. You can see the differences there. And then when it comes to the comparison, which is really what's important, it's actually insane that this is scenario C. I want to compare these two. Having these two side by side would actually be way more interesting. So in scenario C, with the red dots, there were 134 shots fired, but for the iron sights, it was 145 shots. So it took an extra 10 rounds to clear the course of whatever it happened to be, right? So, but let's just show the hits side by side. Here we go. Okay, so total fired, 262 for the red dots on the left, iron sights on the right. Iron sights were 292, critical hits, or total hits, 192 versus 171. But look at the critical hit difference. So the critical hits for Sage Dynamics, for the purposes of this test, if we scroll back up, these are the critical hits, right? So hits on the body anywhere else are, hits, but non-critical, right? So the red hits are what we want. So when we scroll again all the way back down, I wish these things were just next to each other. But if we look at this, so not only are there less total shots fired, more shots on target, but nearly triple, or actually exactly triple the critical hits, and about half the misses between red dot sights and iron sights, right? So not only do they have less shots fired, more shots on target, but the hits are 3 times better. The hits are literally 3 times better on the red dot group versus the iron sight group. So now they also compare the shooter groups, right? So the average year's shooting 8.5 on the red dots versus 9 on the iron sights. So the average iron sight shooters actually has a little more time in the game. Average year's LE experience, again, the red dots were only a year. The iron sight students were 1.6 years. So even the iron sight shooters still had a little more total time, a little more LE time on average. The only area where the red dot guys had a little bit more advantage or a little bit more time was in the military experience, averaging 1.4 years versus 0.75 years on the iron sights. And this is, again, a 12v12 panel here. Now, if you look at the hit maps, this is where it gets like really bad. So the iron sight hit maps, basically everywhere on the front presentation target, this is like where they do, I guess, the best, quote unquote. Not great. And then you can see on the side profiles and then the back as well. Now, it should be pretty obvious. Let me zoom in a little bit more for you guys here, but it should be pretty obvious like which one of these groups is way, way, way more effective, right? Like this is the red dot sights or the MRDS group. Way more effective, way better hits versus the iron sights, which are just everywhere on the thing, right? Just literally everywhere on the thing. Now, of course, yes, the best iron sight shooters can do whatever they want to do with iron sights. It's not that big of a deal. For the average person, for the below average person, for the above average person, iron sights are a huge detriment, and red dots, vice versa, are quite good. They're very good. They help you out a lot. They're really good at providing useful, immediate feedback, confirmation, all of those things, right? Bro's got a sleeper build. Yeah, he's actually, he's relatively slim fit. That's what I would call it. Not slim thick, slim fit. That's what I would say. No, the red dot sights just absolutely mogged the iron sights on that. So he talks about, hey, what do we do with the different types of shooting, the grips, other sort of silly optical things that go along with it, obstructions, how do we actually aim, blah, 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 different focal planes with the different sights. Not that big of a deal. Conclusion. All right, this is the last thing we'll talk about on this. Making the case as thorough as possible for MRDS adoption is the entire goal of this paper, with combined research related to iron sights and MRDS, as well as identifying and explaining the psychophysiological aspects associated with aiming under stress, since the MRDS may appear as a relatively new technology in general, and in LE specifically, identifying and addressing all concerned issues to allow a department to make an informed decision is important, given the lack of centralized information. The first adoption of MRDS for duty use in LE isn't specifically known. However, they have been in use for more than a decade or more and continue to be adopted as progressive agencies strive to increase officer accuracy and reduce possible mistake of fact uses of force. Research into MRDS will continue. Sage Dynamics has indefinite research in progress, both for live fire and force on force, with results published periodically, and this white paper will possibly jumpstart more research at the department level to further establish the case for MRDS adoption. Now, again, me personally, like this stuff is just intuitively true. Like having a white paper is useful for like boomers or people that are going to be, the bean counters and whatnot, and they're going to be asking questions like, why are we spending more money on red dots? What's wrong with the sights that come with a pistol? Well, Jim Bob, he's been on the force for 25 years. I always give Jim Bob a hard time. Jim Bob has been on the force for 25 years, and he says that iron sights are just fine. Why are we spending more money on iron sights or on red dot sights? Why are we switching? We've always done things this way. for those types of people, maybe it makes sense to have a white paper, have some sort of really syllogistic argument that you can just show them. No, this is actually better 99% of the time. It's going to help you. It's going to help your shooters. It's going to help your department to, shoot less civilians, hopefully. Right? That's the point. It's going to put more rounds on target, less rounds where you don't want them. All right. Let's go ahead and move into Rage Bait, shall we? And then we'll be able to get out of here a little bit early, it's looking like. That would be wonderful. All right. Well, it is CZ month. It's almost over, guys. We got a little bit more, but it is still technically CZ month. And breaking, the Minneapolis City Council has voted to legalize adult bathhouses and sex venues, calling them gathering spaces for queer people, especially gay men. Now, I'm fortunately not from Minnesota. Somebody sent me this, pretty sure it was Ben that sent me this, and it's just one of those things where it's like, this is too dumb. This can't be real. You're not actually advocating for public bathhouses so that we're not at the 2-hour mark. But those people can go have orgies in the public bathhouses, which I feel like maybe some hero out there could switch out the bathhouses for some gas houses or something. I'm just saying there's an effective solution here that's semi-permanent. But no, it is in fact the big real. Yes, Mr. Doom says the AIDS breeding zones. Yeah, you want to know how you get AIDS and everything else? Is you just have fent needles and poop everywhere while people have gay orgies in a public bathhouse. Like what retarded nonsense is going on here? A shower, you say? Minneapolis City Council has repealed a ban on adult bathhouses and other businesses where people can legally have sex, which went into effect in the late 80s as a result of the AIDS epidemic. Yeah, I wonder why. A pair of ordinances amending the city code passed 9-2 on a vote Thursday, effectively repealing the ban and paving the way for adult bathhouses and sex venues following additional regulations that the city council must pass before any can open. Man, I feel like, listen, if you just want Sodom and Gomorrah, like this is how you get it, right? Like we need to have some regulations on the gay butt sex that you guys are having in the bathhouses, okay, guys? And then you guys just go wild in there, have a great time. It could be fantastic. Council members Elizabeth Schaefer and Pearl Warren voted against the changes. So literally, this is the best we got. We got 2 Foids voting against the bathhouses. That's what we've been reduced to. We got 2 Foids voting against it. 2 based Foids. That's our best that we have to offer on the Minneapolis Council. Council members Jamal Osman, you say. I wonder if he's Muslim, and so he instead of saying no, he just said no, I'm not going to. While council member Jameson Whiting was absent, though he previously indicated that he's in favor of the repeal. Mayor Jacob Gay, previously told NPR News that he supports repealing the bathhouse ban, so a veto from him is unlikely, especially since the council would have enough votes to override it. Council member Jason Chavez, the only openly LGBTQ plus member, it's always a Mexican guy, Mr. Chavez, member of the council, co-authored the ordinances in alignment with the Safer Sex Spaces Coalition. Ugh. The SS, huh? That's what you want? Like, if I feel like if you want SS, like this is how you get that. A group that lobbied for the ban's repeal, arguing that it is no longer needed to promote public health. Social science research tells us that commercial sex spaces, like, isn't it so dystopian and awful? Isn't it oh gosh, so dystopian and awful? What was the words that they use? Commercial sex spaces. Nah, let's just ban. Let's not. Like, gay saunas are important to promoting safer sex practices and enhancing HIV prevention. See, it's just such a gobbledygook. It's like, no. Yeah, having public orgy places or private orgy places that are designed and promoting this stuff will not have safer sex practices. You know how you have safe sex? You have sex with one woman inside of a marriage, and then you have lots of children with her. And you know how you don't get AIDS? You don't have sex with monkeys. Shocker. And increasing access to testing and treatment. These spaces also enhance feelings of identity, camaraderie, authenticity, and belonging. It's a lot of words for taking it up the butt. A lot of words. Identity, camaraderie, authenticity, and belonging. Listen, if your identity is taking it up the butt, maybe you just shouldn't have that identity anymore. Maybe that's a bad identity. Such businesses operated in Minneapolis as community spaces, which were historically frequented by gay men until they were banned in 1988 out of concern that they facilitated high-risk sexual content. No kidding. There were 3 bathhouses in downtown Minneapolis at one point in the early 70s, according to the Minnesota Star Tribune. Currently, there's the state's only legal adult bathhouse has been open in Duluth since the 1920s, though it appears to be temporarily closed due to issues with its boiler. All right. If you thought it couldn't get any more degenerate, well, unfortunately, it could. Now, here's another one that it's not really rage baity, but it's like funny, I suppose. Well, it's not funny. It's a security guard dealing with someone in a completely inappropriate manner, in a manner that should never be done. You should be Mr. 9x19. You should be immediately arrested, and this guy does get arrested for dealing with even a rowdy customer like this. So there's an altercation happening at this bar. This guy's probably intoxicated, but the security guard has had enough, and he decides to taser someone's face. Now, taser face, wasn't that a joke in a Marvel movie? Taser face, right? But this guy is literally going to get tasered point blank in the face and in the eyes. Oh, what a screenshot. Yeah, so he literally pulls out a taser. This hombre over here, Miguel. Hey, man, I used to run in the gangs. They got me working security at this bar, man. Shit, man, this gringo talking some smack to me, dude? No, hey, man, you can taste a taser. How about you like the taser face, man? Shit, dude. Justified? What are you talking about? No. The guy was being lippy from the other side of a wall. If he was pushing him or something, then yeah, that's justified. But random security guy drawing a taser and shooting somebody in the eye at point blank range, I don't know about that. And yeah, the police get called and they arrest the guy. Oh my gosh. All I see is a winning lawsuit, most likely. POV, you hire an ex-gang members as security. How to afford a beachfront property, get tased in the face, restaurant owner and security company getting sued. Absolutely. I mean, the guy, if he did get shot in the eye, he was legitimately losing one of those eyes. I don't think that's justified at all. If he was being physical, then sure. Yeah, of course. But if he's just being a drunk asshole, it's I don't know. I feel that's I think that's a little harsh. No, it was white on brown. It was a white guy. He's not even saying anything. He's not reaching towards the guy, nothing. He's having a fight with this guy over here. Not a fight, a verbal altercation at most. And then this guy just pulls out a taser and into his eyes. Yeah, maybe it was brown on brown, but it's light brown on dark brown. Very harsh. Yeah, no, that was not pepper spray. If it was pepper spray, it'd be okay, well, that's, annoying, but it's not the worst thing you can have happen to you, dude. But that's and it was a male, so when he said taser, it was actually a taser, right? It didn't just blow that guy's brains out on him. And yeah, he did sucker shoot him because it wasn't even that guy. Oh my gosh, I don't know what that guy was thinking. Why is his shirt off? Well, it's a beachfront property and it's late at night and people are probably drunk. So it's one of those, beach thing areas. I'm glad I don't live near beaches or people who live on beaches here. Harsh, okay, very, very harsh. Yeah, Glimmerman says avoid chasing booze, drugs, women, late hours, weird places. Yeah, many of those things together probably lined up in this situation. Now, I know some of you guys out there, you work in EMT, you guys are cool, you do your best, you try to help people, you know, all the wonderful things that you guys do. But I got to imagine that this is like your guys' worst nightmare. We have an 8-minute clip of, you know, black on black violence. EMTs and police officers arrive to attempt to save the man bleeding out on the street, essentially, right? In their attempts to save this Napa, the other Napas are trying to stop them from doing their job, and then they start to fight the police officers. So then it becomes a brawl between police officers and EMTs trying to save a black man while other black people try to stop them from doing so. Right? It's like EMTs out there risking their lives, doing their jobs, trying to save somebody, being stopped by the very people that this person supposedly belongs to. There's a long diatribe that this person types out. I don't think you need it. You'll be pretty quick into the video. You'll figure out what's going on here. What the heck? Press the wrong button.
In Peoria, Illinois, this man just got shot over an argument. As he collapses next to a car while suffering from massive arterial bleeding, a massive crowd begins forming around him. As police arrive to render aid, they'll have to deal with a lot more than just a gunshot wound.
It's on its way. Watch out, move!
Now, throughout this video, some of you very keen observers may notice a certain backing track has been added. However, it really does fit in. You know, it fits in. It almost like you don't even notice it at first, but you'll figure it out. Okay, you'll just listen.
Get out of the way! Move! Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Get back! Get back! Get back!
So if you notice that one guy shouts, "This is my cousin, this is my cousin." It's like, get out of the way, you retard. You can't help him. I can, right? I'm risking listen, Napa, okay? I'm risking my life to save your cousin, okay? Get out of my way. Like, what are you doing? You just, you know, it's like, I wish YouTube wasn't so gay, right?
Everyone up!
Generic use of force. Dude, 1 second ago, this guy, great freeze frame, this guy is putting on his gloves, trying to stop the bleeding from this guy on the ground, right? And the people that are like, what his friends, the people that are trying to help him are actively stopping the EMS guys from doing their job. It's like, I don't even get, it's not even worth it. At that point, bro, just pack it up and leave it. Like, sorry, bro. Like, this is on you. This is your team, right? Your team wouldn't let us do it. So I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, dude. Dude, what are the women doing? The women are like getting down there and like bending over him. Like, are they trying to rob the guy on the ground, or can they just let the EMS do their job? What are the problem? Like, get out of the way. He's stupid Floyd. Like, is this like the battle for Helm's Deep when Aragorn's down in the gap and they got to go down there and save their bro. Like, what's going on here? You know, that's like this massive body's like, I'm afraid I'm going to get stabbed. I'm going to get shot. Somebody's going to go for my sidearm. Like, geez, you could not, like, listen, EMS, if you're an EMS guy in Chicago, why, dude? That, like, they cannot be paying you enough. Like, you have to, like, literally be a saint. If you're like a generic call, it could result in my death at any point in time. Like, you're literally a selfless saint risking your life to go save these people.
Get them! They need help. Where?
The police just have to get more and more and more and more.
Get back! Get back!
Who cares?
Hey! Back up! I'm his mom. Hey, back up!
You're his mom? Did you start having kids at like 12? Yes. What are you doing out like this, you whore? Why are you dressed like a whore, Mom? I'm bleeding out on the ground and you're dressing like a whore trying to fight with cops? Mom, hold it together for 5 minutes. The EBT card isn't even cold yet.
Back up! What's up? Get up there! Get the people away from me! Everybody get back! Get back! Get back now! Get back! Get back!
What is the girl trying to do? This girl in the pink thing, purple thing, has just been trying to like squeeze her way in to get on top of this guy like the entire time. What is she doing? Is there any, like, there must be, like, she knows that his wallet's got like a crisp 50 in it. Or maybe it's got a couple of the special George 20s in it, if you know what I'm saying, okay? And she's like, I know where I finna have dinner tonight, man. Shit, gonna get that EBT money, man. Dude, look at, she's back again. What are you doing? Oh, card on the ground. I see V's. Dude, no, they were. Were they actually going through the wallet, guys? There's cards on the ground. Guys, they, like, I was partially joking. They were actually going for the cards and the money. Bro, is a loot drop. You were joking, but every... Wow. Damn. I'm shocked. I'm actually, wow.
Yeah. Damn.
One, we have about 50 people crowding us and we cannot get him help. Send more cars.
They trying to save him. Get back.
It doesn't help with you on the officer. Stay back. I can't back the up. Just go, my Get down! Get down! Get down! Back up! Back up! Get his back! Go help him! Please stop him! Stop him, man! Stop him! Stop him! Put your hands by your back! All right, okay, bro, okay. Idiot! All right, I'm gonna roll you on your side.
Black guys are so like there's somebody literally dying out that these people don't care about anyone else other than themselves, but they have to be the center of attention, like at any point in time, right? It's just this like constant peacocking, right? They can't ever not be the center of attention, like ever. Like, oh, there's a cop around here. I gotta puff my chest, and I gotta like, oh, they're trying to stun on me. They're trying to stun on me, man. Shit, dude, no, they can't talk to me like that. They can't push me around like that. Who they think say, oh, I don't care about Jimmy Daquan bleeding out on the ground, man. They can't push me. Can't touch a black man like me. Oh,
You're gonna get your knees to your chest, okay? Knees to your chest. Get your.
Listen, man, this guy can't get his knees to his chest. I'm just gonna, officer, sir, let me stop you right there. That's about as high as his knees go. How high do the knees go on the Negro? Am I right? Am I right?
Knees to your chest. Get up. I can't. I don't feel my legs. All right, get him up.
He's like barely bending his legs. I can't feel my legs. Dude, that needs to be on a t-shirt. I can't feel my legs. I can't breathe. I can't feel my legs. I'm putting together a team, okay? We need somebody who's like, my arm, I can't feel my arm. And I'll have the whole trifecta there.
All right.
I didn't do nothing.
Give me the face. No.
I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. It's like the thing, right? The metronome where they just quickly flip between like impervious, indomitable monster to like, I didn't do anything. I'm sorry. It wasn't my fault to listen, man. You can't finna talk to me that way, man. Shit. Like instant flip.
Hey, I don't feel my legs. All right, get him up. I can't feel my legs. All right.
Stupid roll over. I didn't do nothing.
Give me the face.
No, I didn't, bro. Damn, bro, my fault.
Dude, body cam footage has been the best thing to ever happen to the black community. Ever. I know that was a thing like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where they're like, police need to be held accountable. They're terrorizing the inner city. They need to wear body cams. And now that's the reverse, right? You'll see articles where it's like, why body cam footage shouldn't be released to the public because it puts off a bad, it's like it reinforces racist stereotypes of black people. I wonder why, though.
No, my fault. Told you back the up, man. No, my fault. I didn't drag him out. Get him over here by everyone else.
Back up! Hey! No!
Oh my gosh.
Go up to her! Get the
Oh my gosh. A black Floyd is choking out a white Floyd police officer while they're trying to apply aid to someone. Isn't it just like...
Give me your hand! Bro, why would you hit me like that?
You had my officer.
Why would you hit me like that? As like 2 seconds ago, you had an officer in a chokehold. You could kill someone, you disgusting ape. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Ah, dude, body cam. So wonderful.
Give me your hand! Bro, why would you hit me like that?
You had my officer.
No, she had me. What the f*** are you talking about? Did you see her?
Ew.
Get the f*** up, bro. Stop dragging me. What the f*** is wrong? Get the f***
Dude, I need that clip.
I can't feel my legs. Get up.
Dude, shut
I can't feel my
up.
legs.
You walk this whole way. Get up.
I can't feel my legs.
Get
I've been
up.
drinking. I can't feel my
Oh
legs. I've
my
been drinking.
gosh. Dude, that's what my 5-year-old does. That's what my 5-year-old does. It's like, where they give up and I can't walk. I'm too tired, Dad. I can't make it, Dad. Oh, it's so hard. That's what my child does. You disgusting brat. Oh, maybe he just likes being handled by men. Maybe he just wants to be picked up by a bunch of men. Who knows?
You just walked here.
I don't know how to got here.
You just walked over here. All right, get him.
We need to secure that.
I know, get him in.
I can't feel my legs in the car.
Get in the car. Get in the car now. All right. You're going to get chased. Yeah, that's right. You get in the car. Get in now. Get in now.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Hey, that's good use of motivation there. All right. He should have just tased him because it would have been funny. But I mean, come on, bring it out at least. Jeez.
Hey, you just walked over here. All right, get him in here.
We need to secure that. We need
No,
to
get him in. Get in the car. Get in the car now. All right. You're gonna get tased. Yeah, that's right. You get in the car. Get in now. Get in now. Oh look, your legs work. Oh look, your legs work now. Look up. That's fine. We'll fix them later. I got you, bro. I didn't. Excuse me, bro. I didn't mean it. Put your foot in.
I didn't steal nothing. You know, that's so funny that they were just crowding around their dead loot drop. Like hyenas, right? Like animals. Like buzzards.
Motherfucker hit me and tried to run.
I know. Back up, or we can't help your friend. Stop touching me, bro. Stop touching me, bro. Get your hands.
Pull him by his dreads. Pull him by his dreads. Oh, dude, he did it. He did it. Yes, he pulled him by the dreads. Dreads, weakness, bros. Okay, as soon as I got a hold of your dreads, it's over, dog. I got your head down to the ground, my knees on top of it. It's fantastic. Great move. Yeah, pull him by his dreads. Pull him by his dreads. There you go. Right away. Amazing.
Stop. We're not dealing with this right now.
Ace.
We can't help him when you're in our face.
Just got it killed, bro. Homie just got shot, bro.
You're not helping him at all.
Yeah,
Get in the car.
You absolute retard.
Stay down, buddy. Stay down, boss. Stay down, boss. Let's breathe. Let's breathe for me.
The whole time, you know, there's like one hero EMT who's like just down there, like just praying that whatever shenanigans are going on around him, that he's like safe, that his other police officer buddies are keeping him safe, right? As he's there, like stopping the blood flow, trying to keep, like, he's literally a hero. He's literally a saint, sacrificing his life, his well-being to help this guy out. Now, again, everybody in the chat's going to argue that he shouldn't be doing that in the first place. I understand, but I'm saying in the moment, he's there, he's doing his job, he's risking his life. All the apes are piling around him, you know, literally picking the dead man's pocket as he's attempting to do everything that he can, right? And this guy's just like, I hope that somebody isn't about to stab me in the back of my head, cut my neck, whatever is going to shoot me in the back, whatever it's going to be. I hope that everybody else around me is doing their job and I'm safe right now.
Get some crime scene tape up. Back up now! Back up!
If you're in this crime scene tape, you're going to jail. Go! Go!
Get out of the crime scene now! It's a crime scene! You, back up! Back up now! Back up! I'm on. You want some out of here.
Oh my
gosh. Take him out of here. Take him out of here.
I like how the one guy who has like this guy on the left is like 75 IQ. This guy on the right is like mid 60s maybe, and this guy's like, no, I got him. Like, I got him. I'm getting him out of here. Don't worry. I got him. I got him. Like, it's okay. I'll be okay. And the other guy's like, you want to fight? You want to fight? And the other guy's like, please, no. Please, you're making me look bad right now, man. Not in front of the cops again.
Up on the curb now. Back up. This is a crime scene, okay? Back the f up. Get up on the sidewalk now. You gotta back up. This is a crime scene, okay? It's a
What is this thing? What is this like golem? We're in the back, just staring at the camera, like dead eyes, like, what did I know? What's going on here? Man. The 2-pack shirt, all of it. It's just so perfect, isn't it?
back up on the sidewalk now. Now! Back up! Back up!
Dude, no way, you insane, retarded, obese, foid, Napa freak. Are you going to try and pick a fight with a police officer? Oh my gosh. And she's like 300 pounds too. Ah.
I'm telling you to listen, okay? We can't help it with you guys breathing down our necks. This is your first warning. You're going to be pepperballed if you do not disperse. You do not get your car now. No, it is a crime scene. Go. You will be pepperballed.
That guy
You
was
will be
nice.
pepperballed.
Okay, hey, credit where credit is due. That guy was nice. He said, I can't get my car. They said no, and he walks off. Okay, fair enough. Get out of here. I know it sucks, but hey, thanks for not being like everybody else there at least.
This is your warning. You will be pepperballed. Get on the other side. No, you cannot come through here. You will be pepperballed. Walk. Walk. No, I don't care if someone got shot. Walk. Keep going. You will be pepperballed.
LT, victim went to OSF.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I went to go assist him, and 2 girls jumped on me, so I did not
That's
get
what
to.
I heard. Are you okay?
Yeah, I mean, I got hit in the face a couple times, and I can't open my hand all the way.
Oh, no.
It'll be fine.
Okay, I hope so. Okay, so you witnessed his takedown?
I did not. No, I was on the ground, getting choked and hit in the face. So no, I don't have any information for you. I don't know.
All right. Knocked down or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're tough. You're back up.
Oh God.
Again, like I see all the faces of all these guys, right, who are out here after the most of the commotion has gone down, and I'm like,
Knocked down or
is it really worth it? You guys, like mid 40s, maybe even late 40s, early 50s for this guy on the left. Is this really what you guys want to do? Is this like if you got a wife, you got kids, you got family, like is this? It's not going to get any better, right? Is this really where you want to be? Is this really what you want to be doing?
or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're tough. You're back up.
Oh God. I can't tell you how many times I've been hit in the face in this job. She got me pretty good in the face a few times.
Did you get arrested? You can get away.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah.
good.
I took your guy down.
Yeah, he had me around the neck when I was
Whose
trying
is
to.
this?
That's mine. He fucking punched me.
Where was he shot?
I saw him on the cot right there. He maybe had a chest seal on him.
No.
And there's blood right there, so probably right here. But I have no clue.
I was fighting everybody by myself trying to cut his clothes off, and they're all just pulling on me, telling me to help. And I said, back up, like 6 times. And they
Absolutely insane situation. Absolutely insane. But I'm glad that the police officers at least are safe. Did the guy make it out? Who knows? I mean, I feel like not enough people were arrested there. Like as much as, the cops did what they could, there were other solutions that they could have employed that would fix some of the problems moving forward, but at least they were safe. At least all the cops made it out all right in that situation. No humans were harmed in the making of this production. Chris Dahan for 2 says, I do sayeth, don't be gayeth. Truk nuke. Thank you, Chris Dahan. Appreciate that. Mr. 9x19 member for 1 month says, breaking trench grenade moving to Minneapolis. Listen, okay, the bathhouses are open for business. Chris Dahan for another 2 says, Fecal Impact new bathhouse metal band. Fecal Impact. Gross. Thank you, Chris Dahan. Appreciate that. Dillweed for 5 says, National Geographic documentary. Yeah. Just the downtown zoo in Chicago. Black Flag for 5 says, most pathetic and hopeless of peoples. Most infuriating of peoples, right? Like, there's no other way to put that. That just looks miserable and nightmarish to actually ever deal with. Like, what a absolute monstrosity. Just a congealed mess of human flesh. Big Rock Little Rocks for 2 says, I see your back, top acolyte of Moloch and Baal. All right, bud. Jewish hands type that message. Sean Weiland for 2 says, pass the Purge Act and this goes away forever. Yeah, it's just 24 hours. That's it. You could do a lot of good in 24 hours. Just think of all of the good you could accomplish in 24 hours. That's all. So I'm not asking for a lot. I'm not crazy here. Okay. Thank you, Sean Weiland. I appreciate that, sir. All right, guys. Well, I have got to be up in, 5 hours. And I got stuff to do before I go to bed. I've got to be up in 5 hours to drive 4 hours to shoot 12 stages. Man, my timing is impeccable. Impeccable. Whatever. Who cares? I'm tired already. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful show tonight. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Greater than that guy who got shot and then jumped by members of his own group and then looted. as the body was literally still warm. You know, lots of hope for certain communities around the country, huh? But with all of that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how dark it gets metaphorically or literally, always remember Christ is king. God is good. We will prevail in the end. We just got some work to do before then. So Godspeed. God bless.